What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about The Black Phone. Directed by Scott Derrickson, who wrote this film alongside C. Robert Cargill based on a short story by Joe Hill. This film stars people like Mason Thames, Madeleine McGraw, Ethan Hawke, Jeremy Davies, and many more, and tells the story of a young boy who's kidnapped by a kidnapper known as the Grabber and has to find a way to escape this man's basement as he starts to receive some help from some of those past victims. What's going on, everybody? Just got home from checking out the new film, The Black Phone, and I remember when this initial trailer came out for this, I was completely and utterly captivated by the trailer. Something about it seemed like it was right up my alley. It seemed creepy, eerie, and different. And of course, because of the pandemic and a couple other things, it had a couple release date changes, which was why we kind of saw a really long marketing push for it, and times where it felt like it kind of left the marketing realm and then it would show back up, and here it is finally. I remember seeing the trailer and thinking, wow, Ethan Hawke looks like he's going to give a really great performance in this movie. So with all that said, I went into this movie pretty excited for it, and I had just seen that they announced that this was going to be one of the houses at Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios this year. So it put a lot more faith in me as a viewer going into the movie that maybe Universal had something they were really proud of on their hands. And I'm happy to say, after having seen the movie, that I enjoyed it. I found it to be a pretty good time at the theater. We had a pretty vocal theater at times, so there was, some nice horror moments that lended themselves to some, comedy in terms of some of the commentary from some people in the theater, which is always an enjoyable thing when you go and see a horror film and you can have some fun commentary. There were a few folks that were talking a little bit too much, but it's always nice to go see a horror film and have some audience commentary from time to time, and this was definitely one of those movies. And yeah, going into it, I'll be completely honest in saying that I thought this was definitely going to be one of the better films of the year, and I had heard a lot of really great things about it. And I'm happy to say, like I said, I enjoyed it. There's a lot about this film that I think really works, but at its core, if I'm completely honest, this for me was a good movie, not a great movie. There are great elements about this movie for me, for sure, but overall, when I look at the complete overall structure of this film, there are elements in its writing that do feel at times for me very convenient or very predictable. It very much seems like you know exactly where this is going to go from the moment the movie pretty much starts picking up and the story starts to unfold. There isn't really a whole lot of our characters uncovering things themselves here, more so things kind of helping them uncover things over the course of the film, leading into the, very convenient storytelling at times. That didn't necessarily fully take me out of the movie though, because I did find myself engaged in the performances, the cinematography, and the overall feel and vibe. Scott Derrickson is a fantastic director, and he's directed things like Sinister, as well as things like Doctor Strange, and has a very unique, visual style to his films, especially when it comes to the various horror films that he's worked on. And so you can definitely feel that Sinister vibe here for sure. I really enjoyed the look and feel of this movie. Ethan Hawke, who plays the Grabber, our main villain, has a really cool looking mask that I can already see is going to be a big Halloween item this year. I'm almost 100% sure we're going to see a bunch of the Grabber at different Halloween parties or just different Instagram posts or whatever the case may be. I should also mention, with the Grabber being our main villain here, that if you are somebody who has dealt with something like kidnapping or had somebody in your family who was kidnapped, I think, that element of the film is pretty disturbing and leans into some things that could be triggering for some. As for Ethan Hawke's performance though, I thought he did a great job, but I gotta be honest when I say that I thought he was gonna be given a lot more to do, and it felt like some of the best moments, best lines that he had were some of the things that we saw in the trailer. That's not to say that his performance over the course of the film isn't good, but I found myself more engaged in the kids than I did the actual villain. Now, of course, they're the protagonists, so those are the ones that you want to focus on here, but in terms of the villain, there were moments where I thought to myself, I thought that Ethan Hawke's character was going to be a much bigger part of the movie over the course of the movie. Even though he is a big part of the movie, it just felt like they could have done a little bit more with that element. And so when it really comes to the things I really enjoyed about this film, it's the young boy named Finney who ends up getting kidnapped by the Grabber and his sister Gwen. Now, his sister Gwen has some sort of ability that seems to have been passed down from her mom, where she can see various things in her dream. So over the course of the film, she uses this ability to try to discover where her brother Finney has been taken, while Finney, who has been and taken and put into this basement of the grabber, continues to get phone calls on this black phone inside the room that he's imprisoned in. And this is where the film leans into its very supernatural element of the movie. Over the course of the film, Finney would start picking up the phone and start hearing the voices of the various victims of the grabber before. They would work alongside Finney over the course of the film to teach him how to best escape this situation and how to best deal with all the things that the grabber has in store for him. And that's pretty much the movie. You have the grabber having this kid down there, he kind of toying with him, playing a game with him. You have Finney, who was trying to escape and using the various past victims as his, allies to get out of there. And then you have Gwen, the sister, on the outside, trying to use her ability to find her brother. And at times, because of the nature of this story and the way that our characters are receiving information that is beneficial to them, there is an element throughout the course of the movie that just felt very convenient in terms of the storytelling, which also led to it being fairly predictable. With that said, though, I did find this to be an enjoyable time at the movies. I think if you're, looking for something cool and different to go and check out at the theater, this is definitely a cool horror film to check out this year. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but it's definitely worth a watch. And if it's a movie that you are still interested in and you maybe don't want to rush to theaters to see, yeah, definitely check it out on streaming when it comes out. I don't know that this is a film that I kind of feel I need to tell you guys to rush to theaters to see, but it was definitely a good time. I enjoyed myself, and I don't necessarily think you'll be bored if you go and buy a ticket for this movie while it's in theaters. So a big thanks to you guys for watching. Hit that like button, comment your thoughts, subscribe for more videos, and I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. Did you like this movie? Did you not like this movie? Definitely leave any and all of those thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.